Hi, I here. This is a general reading for whoever may be listening. We're going to do a Celtic cross spread with the Thoth deck, and what we see on the bottom of the deck is going to represent what you don't see coming. And once we get an idea of what the general message of this reading is going to be, we're going to pull 3 cards from the shadow deck to see what's going on in your subconscious and to see if there are any further clarifications we might need. So let's just see what happens. Okay, so what message will we receive today? We're not tapping in any particular zodiac sign. This is just a general reading for anyone that might be listening. This is a timeless message. So, maybe this could be months, years after I've recorded it that you're watching this, and maybe there's a message in there that you just needed to hear or see at just that right amount of time passing between now and then. So let's not try to put any kind of restrictions or expectations on this. Let's just see what messages come through. We're going to do a Celtic cross, my usual spread that I do for most of my readings. And we'll just see what message comes out. But as always, let's ask if there's perhaps something in particular we should reflect upon. Is there anything we should meditate on? Any things we should think about? Are there any warnings that we need to see or hear or experience? Are there any things that we should perhaps try to think about avoiding? Things we should try to not put our energy into or maybe try to get rid of in our lives? Or are there positive things that we want to move towards? Things that we need more of in our life? Things that if we were to put our energy into might make us a little happier, it might make things a little bit easier, or whatever it is that you're looking for in your life. What things should we think about today? And as always, with all general readings, I should give the warning that if the details of this message do not fit, that's okay. You can always watch one of my other readings, or you can just stick around and see what messages come out, and maybe something that you reflect on now won't resonate with you but might resonate at another time. I'd say check your other placements, but there's no placement associated to this, so I guess you could still check your other placements if that's what you want to do. Plenty of videos on this channel, and go back, watch some of those old ones. Maybe something new will come out of them. But today, let's just see what message comes through with our Celtic cross. Like I said, we're not tapping into any particular zodiac sign, just whatever energy comes through, that's the message that we're going to follow. So what will our Celtic cross tell us today? I'm going to get one more good shuffle here, and then we will see what message comes through. Okay, so we start in the present moment with the Chariot, the vessel for something moving forward. This is associated with the sign of Cancer, so maybe that sign has some significance to you at this time, but I tend to not focus too much on that while I'm going through the message, but it's something you can think about. But this is a card. It is sometimes associated with an actual car or some kind of travel or movement forward. But really, this is a card about being the vessel for something essentially spiritual. Like the thing that the figure is holding there is, in some sense, like a divine star that is within them. It's something that is greater than themselves, that they are, as I said, the container for. And if there's something sort of mystical or powerful or larger than life in this world, it can't really be experienced unless it takes some kind of form. And this is the card of that form manifesting in the world and then being as I said, some kind of car-like structure that is moving that thing through the world. So whatever inspirations that may be coming to you, perhaps this is symbolic of that inspiration finally coming to light inside of you, and then it's something that you can carry forward with you in whatever things you're going to face in the future, for the rest of your life, really. And it's also a card that represents or asks us to think a little bit about sort of making sure that we've got ourself properly tuned. You know, if you are a vessel for something important or special that needs to be, expressed into the world, you want to make sure that the medium through which that thing is manifesting comes through in a way that is, clear. You want to make sure that if it's your car that you're driving around, you want to make sure that thing is properly tuned up so that it can get you where you need to go. And if there's some message that you need to share or some work that you need to do, it's telling us that we should take care of ourselves and to some degree our environment, so that we can make sure that as we are doing whatever it is that we need to do, whatever is manifesting through us, that we're able to do so in a way that is as clear and proper as possible. Proper is not a great word there, but make sure. If you're the medium for something, you want to make sure that you're able to express that as clearly as possible. And so make sure that you, the expresser of whatever that is, the manifestation of whatever it is that is inside you, you can't really share that properly with the world. I said it again. You can't really share that properly with the world unless you are, in some sense, working on making the best version of yourself. So, good way to start. I've spent a fair amount of time already just talking about the Chariot, so let's see what crosses the Chariot. Okay, so we have Peace, the Two of Swords. So perhaps you've been in a place where you're feeling kind of stuck. Maybe, as I said, perhaps you are feeling like you've got something that you need to bring into the world, something that you want to share, and perhaps you're being maybe this is being pulled in two different directions, and they're almost so equally balanced that there is no movement. In certain depictions of the Chariot, there are these two, depending on the deck you're using, there's different creatures that are pulling the Chariot forward. We see those here as well. And if those things are not moving in the same direction, if those things are not in alignment, then the Chariot goes nowhere. So I think that perhaps this is a message of you perhaps feeling stuck in your ability to be able to express or perform whatever this is that you want to bring into the world. And now, hopefully, we get a message on how to perhaps deal with that. Okay, so we have the Adjustment or Justice card in the recent past. We have the Eight of Swords. Here we have a Three of Pentacles, the Art card, the Lust card, the Five of Pentacles, the Tower, and the Eight of Cups here. Okay, so let's see what we got going on here. So as I said, in the present moment, we have the Chariot and the Two of Swords. So a sense of perhaps being pulled in two different directions as you're trying to navigate the process of, I think, bringing into the world whatever it is that you want to say or do. With the Adjustment card in the recent past, I feel like this has something to do with perhaps the environment that you are in, maybe giving some level of confusion to you. Maybe it's a sense of you have some idea of what you want to create, you have some idea of what you want to bring into the world, but it doesn't quite feel like it's in alignment with where you are, or perhaps who you are at the current moment. And so there's some adjustment that needs to occur. There's some sort of karmic rebalancing that needs to happen in order for you to be in the right place, in the right mind, to be able to move this Chariot forward. Perhaps part of the pull in two different directions that you're getting with the Two of Swords, again, comes from perhaps being in the wrong environment and feeling that sense that you're not really in connection with the things that are surrounding you. And so it's in some sense, maybe it's like the Chariot is designed to go on a certain kind of terrain, and where it is currently parked is not the proper terrain. So the question is, well, how do we get this moving forward? How do we get this process started? How do we get unstuck? And with the Eight of Swords in front of us, that is another card of stuckness. But the thing about the Eight of Swords is the stuckness that you feel with the Eight of Swords is not really the barrier that it is perceived to be. In a lot of versions of this card, it is showing someone who is bound and they have a blindfold on, and there's maybe some swords around them forming a small like makeshift cage, but it doesn't look like it's restrictions that are that difficult to get out of. And so usually when we see the Eight of Swords, what it represents is a barrier that is in some sense either an illusion or self-imposed. So as I said, I feel like there is a disconnect perhaps with your environment. We want to get this Chariot, this it's like you've got something you need to do or say or accomplish, and the stuckness that you're feeling is because you're in a place that doesn't seem like it's really conducive to expressing what you want to express. And so that probably then leads you to this feeling of, well, I don't know what to do. Maybe this is just not the right thing to do. Maybe this is just wrong, and I should, just end it. And not you, the thing you're working on. Like maybe I should just walk away from this and leave it behind. And with the Eight of Swords, though, being the barrier in front of us, I think this is an illusion. I think the road is opening for whatever it is that you want to create or whatever it is that you want to do. You simply need to let go of not the project or the idea that you're trying to accomplish, but perhaps the mode in which you are approaching it. I feel like, the colors here in this card are interesting. Like they look kind of dark and ominous in one sense. They have these sort of unpleasant blues that are somewhat reminiscent of the Adjustment card here and the Five of Discs over here. But there's also a nice sort of warm red that's creating this more purpley kind of color. And I think that is the direction that you're heading, being something that is a little bit more positive and bright, but it's like we can't see it through this blindfold that we're wearing. And, we have the tower right next to it. So it's almost as if, like, there is some sort of explosive breakthrough that has to happen here for this to really get started. And I think there is positive reason, there's reason to be positive about this breakthrough happening. I mean, we have a tower, which doesn't feel great, but I think this might be positive because there's a few cards here that are really standing out to me as saying that it just hasn't happened yet. So here we have the Three of Pentacles down at the bottom. This is the card of building, creating something, but in the actual physical realm, more so than, designing an idea. It can represent collaborating with other people. It can represent taking some foundational idea up to the next level. But it's a card of physical growth, whether that is in your finances or what you're working on. It's just some sort of expansion. And this is what's inside, underneath everything, what's probably bubbling within you. In fact, I kind of feel like what the figure in the Chariot is holding, I think that it's this, whatever this is, whatever this thing is that you are the vessel for, that you want to put out. There's this sense of wanting it to grow and expand, and it's cooking. It's like maybe there's like maybe he's holding like a little Crock-Pot type thing in his hand there, and he's got his like pot roast, and he's just like, oh, it's cooking. I'm gonna take it to wherever it needs to go so it can be enjoyed and eaten by the people that need this. So I feel like there is this idea of expansion within you, even if it doesn't feel like you're going anywhere. Okay, so again, it's like you're in this area, or not, it's like you're in some mode. It could be a physical area that you're in, but it's not conducive to, bringing forth what it is you want to put into the world. But the desire to build it is growing and growing and growing, and now it's time to break the barrier and let this expansion out so that you can share it. And not only is this card here of expansion underneath everything, but above everything, we have the Art card, the Alchemy card. This is the Temperance card. So as I said, I have this idea in my mind that he's carrying some kind of like Crock-Pot, that he's cooking something that is being prepared. It's expanding, it's growing. There's almost like like an egg kind of like incubation type period thing that's happening here. And so the movement that is not occurring, again, I think is a bit of an illusion, because it's really, the idea is just cooking and preparing itself until it can get to just that right moment where, whatever they're tempering up there, whatever art is being designed in that very, very mysterious card. The art of that card is very, very unusual, and definitely worth looking at more deeply if you never have. But whatever is cooking within inside this mystical Crock-Pot, I think that it is going to be something that is very beautiful, something that is going to finally crack open and give forth something very, very powerful. Because Your present energy is the lust card. This is strength and rider waite, but in Thoth, this is the lust card. This is really stepping into an exuberance of life, to really savor, the power that is within you. It's not destructive. It's not passive. It's powerful, but it's elegant, it's beautiful, and I think this is savoring the final expansion of whatever it is that's cooking inside of that little egg there. Whatever is being tempered and growing is going to hatch open, and I feel like this is in some sense the moment of that hatching occurring. I mean, there's some very powerful energy here being tapped into that is sort of being pulled out of the universe and pulled down into the physical, and I think this is the final opening up and expression of whatever this thing is that's been feeling so stuck for so long. That's going to come out and be something very, very beautiful. But, nothing's easy, right? We have a 5 of Pentacles. There's work, there's difficulty. 5 doesn't mean necessarily bad. It just means some kind of change, and it can be difficult to go through that change. This is the worry card, so there can be some anxiety attached to the final opening up and expression of whatever this is. And it's followed by the Tower, so it's like this egg is hatching, something is opening, something is changing, something very dramatic is changing here, and it could be something that upturns your whole world. It could be something that completely, really causes you to reevaluate what's going on. I'm almost wondering if we're going to get a Hanged Man here as I say that. But yeah, I think this unstuckness is coming to an end. I think this quiet, I don't know where we're going with this. I don't know how this is going to happen. I don't know how this is going to finally, go to the next stage. But I think something really positive is happening here. I think the final waiting period might, in some sense, be at least nearing its end, if not over now. I point out here also this rune that we have for today's reading is about the harvest. And there is a little bit of luck involved in it. If you have a good growing season, then the harvest can be bountiful. And I feel like that's what's happening here, is that this may feel like a very stiff, quiet, unproductive time, but whatever is being held within that egg that is the Chariot, whatever is, again, maybe we come back to the idea of Cancer. Maybe there's some warmth that's hiding underneath that shell that's finally coming out. And it's explosive, it is intense, and it may be something that really shakes up whatever you're going through, but I think something positive is going to come out of it. But here's sort of an ironic ending. If this card here at the top, the outcome here we have is an 8 of Cups, which is not a bad card, but it is a card that sometimes has a bit of a melancholy sort of vibe to it, because it is about walking away from something, but it's not about losing anything. It's not about escaping a bad situation so much as it is just sort of letting go of the things that aren't serving you, because you know that there is a sort of bigger calling that needs to be approached. There are bigger, better cups that need to be filled, and I think that once this sort of intense expression of this hatching and this difficulty in readjusting our physical environment and the change that has to occur in order to accommodate whatever this is that's opening up, it may cause a destruction to your previous structure of life, but it's telling you that there is a sort of better path, a better thing that we can approach. There's something we can connect with that we have not been connecting with yet. And so we may have to leave a few things behind that we are not really connecting with anymore, or things that are not serving us as we get along this path. But we're moving towards something that can be better and more positive. And it's something that's going to really emotionally resonate, and something that's going to help you feel more fulfilled, get you closer to that 9 of Cups sort of happiness and joy, right? We have to go through the 8 before we can get through the 9. We have to let go of the negative emotions before we can have space to let the positive emotions come in. And I think this is going to cause a little bit of difficulty in both your physical and perhaps your emotional life. But again, the readjustment that occurs from this is going to allow you to have space to take in whatever beautiful thing is that's hatching out of this egg that we have here. So let's see what you don't see coming is, that is fantastic. It's the Sun. Yeah, I said, there is something that has been incubating, that is in this little shell. It is cracking open. It feels like it's not going anywhere, but that's just perhaps because I feel a sense of the environment in which this is occurring doesn't feel like it's the right environment for this thing to really open up. but the stuckness of being in this environment is something that is just an illusion that can be overcome, so that there's room for this expansion to occur. There's room for this egg to hatch open, for the sun to be able to shine out of it, to tap into that powerful lust energy, to get through the difficult transitional period that has to occur for this to happen, and to let go of the negative, painful things that might have to occur, so that there's space to accommodate this beautiful energy of the sun. I mean, think about the major arcana. What precedes the sun? It's the moon, and it's a very dark, difficult card to deal with. It's not a bad card, but it's a card of having to look through things and try to make some sense of things we don't understand. But if you do that work and you get to the other side of that difficult, dark path, the sun is there waiting for you, and a beautiful new beginning can happen. So I love this. This is a fantastic message. Let's see what the shadow deck has for us. Let's see what's going on in your subconscious. All right, let's see. A little shuffle here. Actually, haven't done a reading in a few days, and so I haven't actually touched this deck in some time. I feel almost a little distant on it. It's interesting. Let's kind of tap back into it. See what we get. Yeah, this is a deck I only ever use when I'm doing readings. I don't ever pull from this deck outside of these recordings. So it's interesting kind of tapping back into it again. All right, one more. Okay, let's see. 3 cards from here. We have a 9 of Swords, a 9 of Wands, and a Knight of Swords. So the mental energy is definitely difficult here. As I said, there's some adjustment here that's not going to be easy, and there's definitely some anxiety, some struggle to handle all of that. But the 9 of Wands, this is the wounded warrior. There's a sense of being able to overcome some of that negative, intense energy. It's not going to feel good. It's definitely, there is some wounds that need to be healed internally. But this is really coming into your strength, overcoming the difficulties, getting past those anxieties, those things that are pulling you back and making you feel like, I think this is that stuckness really settling in mentally and almost cementing itself inside of you as a way to make you feel like this is how it's always going to be. Things are always going to be bad. Things are never going to get better. Almost a little bit of devil energy coming through of just pointing your negativity inward to a point where it almost gets you sort of pinned down and stuck. But with the 9 of Wands, the pain, the cuts from those swords is something that you can't get rid of those wounds, but you can overcome them. You can heal from them, and they may leave scars, but those scars are also things that give you lessons that allow you to step forward and move forward with whatever it is that you're trying to work on. And that's why the Knight of Swords is here. That's that energy of taking that mental energy. It's like I'm imagining someone got shot with an arrow, and they're just like, oh my God, I have an arrow in me. What the hell? This feels horrible. I need to get this thing out. And taking the strength to pull that arrow out of yourself and then say, okay, I'm wounded, this hurts, but we're not going to let this stop us. We're going to move forward. And in fact, almost maybe taking that arrow that was inside of you, pointing it forward, like it's like some kind of new wand that you can use. And it's like you can not only heal from that, but you can use that as a power that allows you to push forward. And again, these lessons are not just things that you heal from, but they're things that can actually be fuel and strength for whatever it is that you're moving forward towards, which is right. I mean, that taking a wound and pulling it and reversing it and pushing that forward, that's some intense chariot energy, right? If someone's coming at you in a chariot and they're carrying as a weapon the thing that wounded them, that's empowerment. If I can, Yeah, I like that image. An Ace of Spheres. And yeah, taking that, redirecting it, using it as a force forward, redirecting your mental energy so you can move forward away from the pain of whatever it was that had you hung up. I mean, we're tapping into lust, we're tapping into the sun, we've got the Chariot moving forward, we're guided by the energy of the art card, we're letting go of all this negativity, and what's going to come out of it? We're going to take something to the next level. You're going to build something, you're going to plant some seed in your future that's going to grow from all of this stuff that you've been through, and you're going to be able to use that and not just get past it, but use it as something that allows you to grow and build something bigger and better as you move forward in whatever it is that you're trying to do in your life. So I love this. This is a very empowering message. I'm feeling amped up for it myself. I hope this is something that helped you as well, but that's all I have for you today. And so, as I said, this is a general timeless reading. So if there are messages that maybe didn't resonate with you, you can always come back and check it later. But I hope there was something in here that was inspiring or helpful for you, or whatever it is that you need. But yeah, that's all I have for you today. So as always, if you could, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you have any comments or feedback you'd like to share, please leave that down below. And if there's anyone that you know that would appreciate and or benefit from this or any of my other videos, please feel free to share them as you see fit. But that's all I have for you today, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.